There was a time in my life when I thought that the only way to be understood was to explain everything. Every action, every feeling, every decision had to come with a justification. I believed that if I could only choose the right words, the perfect tone, and the exact moment, people would finally see me clearly. I would spend hours crafting messages, trying to anticipate questions before they were even asked, defending myself in conversations that seemed to loop endlessly. And yet, the more I explained, the emptier I felt. Exhausted. Drained. Confused. I realized that my effort wasn't bringing clarity, it was simply consuming my energy, leaving a hollow space inside me that words could never fill. Silence, at that time, felt almost like defeat. To stop explaining seemed like surrender. But as I slowly discovered, silence isn't weakness. Silence can be the strongest choice you make, especially when it comes from a place of self-respect rather than fear. It's the difference between reacting to the noise around you and responding to the truth within yourself. There is power in allowing your actions, your presence, and your boundaries to speak louder than your words ever could. I remember a moment that changed my perspective entirely. I was entangled in a friendship that constantly felt one-sided. No matter how I tried to clarify my intentions, to justify my choices, to be patient and understanding, it never seemed enough. If I stayed quiet, I was accused of being distant or cold. If I spoke, I was labeled dramatic. If I shared my feelings, I was overreacting. One night, after another long conversation where I tried to explain myself, I received a brief, almost dismissive reply. It was so casual it almost hurt more than an argument would have. And in that instant, I understood something crucial: I wasn't being misunderstood. I was being ignored. That realization was uncomfortable, but liberating. I made a decision that night. I would stop explaining. I would stop over-justifying myself. At first, it was frightening. My mind screamed at me to fix things, to smooth over misunderstandings, to ensure that I was seen in the right light. But I stayed silent. And slowly, I noticed something remarkable: nothing collapsed. The world did not end. But my dignity returned. I could breathe again, without the constant weight of trying to convince others of my worth. Here's a truth that many people never realize: those who truly care about you do not need long explanations to understand your boundaries or your choices. And those who do not care will never be satisfied, no matter how clearly you explain yourself. Silence becomes a filter. It reveals who deserves your energy and who does not. One of the simplest life hacks I have learned is to explain once, maybe twice if necessary, but never 3 times. Beyond that, words are wasted. Your peace is more important than anyone's comprehension. I think of a friend who struggled with the same pattern. He constantly explained why he couldn't always be available, why he needed space, why he had priorities that didn't align with others' expectations. Every "no" came with a long paragraph, filled with reasons and apologies. One day, I asked him why he always felt the need to justify himself. He said, "Because I don't want to seem like a bad person." I understood instantly. He was exhausting himself trying to earn a space he already deserved. The next time he simply said, "I can't," and nothing else. No excuses, no long explanations. The response he received was telling: some people drifted away, some respected him more than ever. Silence became his ally, revealing who truly valued him. Silence is not avoidance. It is not shutting down emotionally. It is not pretending that problems do not exist. Silence is a choice, a conscious act of self-preservation. It is saying, "I will not let my energy be spent where it is unappreciated." And in this space, you develop clarity. You learn to recognize manipulations and empty demands. You begin to see who in your life is genuinely invested in your well-being, and who is only consuming your time and attention. Another practical tip I follow is to pause before reacting. When you feel triggered, when you want to explain, justify, or defend, wait. I often give myself 24 hours. In that time, the urge to respond typically diminishes. By the time I speak, I can do so calmly, briefly, intentionally. This habit has saved me countless hours of emotional exhaustion and has often allowed the truth to reveal itself without the noise of over-explanation. The people who matter will listen, the others will fall away naturally, and you will remain centered, strong, and respected. Silence also builds what I call inner authority. When you stop racing to justify yourself, you send a signal, to others and to yourself, that you trust your choices. You do not require external validation to stand by your actions. People may misunderstand you. They may judge you. They may even create stories about you that are not true. Let them. The strongest individuals are not the ones who control the narrative of their lives, but the ones who no longer feel the need to explain it. One of the most profound moments I experienced with silence came during a period of professional change. I had worked tirelessly for a team that failed to recognize my contributions. I tried to explain my achievements, to highlight my efforts, to demonstrate my value. Nothing changed. One day, I stopped. I focused on doing my work with integrity, without commentary or defense. Within weeks, my presence became undeniable. My contributions spoke for themselves. I had learned that words are fleeting, actions, consistent and confident, carry weight far beyond any explanation. Silence teaches patience. It teaches observation. It teaches discernment. When you do not feel compelled to justify your every choice, you see interactions for what they truly are. People reveal themselves. Their intentions, their respect, their empathy, or the lack thereof. You gain perspective. You gain control, not by dominating conversations, but by mastering your presence. Finally, I want to stress this: silence is not emptiness. It is full of strength, confidence, clarity, and dignity. It is an unspoken declaration that you will no longer bend to the expectations of those who do not respect you. It is the quiet revolution within yourself that reshapes your life in ways words never could. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop living for other people's approval. And in that space, you find freedom, focus, and growth. The power of silence changed my life, and it can change yours too. It is a journey of learning to trust yourself, to value your own energy, and to let the world reveal who truly matters. You do not need to justify your existence, defend your choices, or earn validation constantly. You simply need to honor your peace, your boundaries, and your truth. And in doing so, you discover the life-changing strength that comes not from words, but from the quiet authority within.